Uh, Hi everybody, it's Trisha Lee. I'm here with my business partner Larry Lever, and super excited to be here today. I'm on location right now. I had to stop on the road and pick up Wi-Fi signal where I could on my way home from a meeting, and so ironically, I ended up here at this restaurant where they have these wagon wheels, which is really going to go awesomely with our topic for today because I'm actually announcing that I'm going to be taking a trip and I may not be able to get any internet connection during the week from August 3rd until August 9th. So we're going to have to kick it into overdrive a little bit to find some other participants to join this hangout because there's a good chance that I will be absent for that week because I'm actually traveling to Millersburg, Ohio. Sorry, I gotta get rid of that. Yeah, so I'm traveling to Millersburg, Ohio, which is in Amish country. So I'm not too sure that they have any kind of internet connection anywhere around Millersburg. If I'm lucky, I will be able to find a restaurant like this one somewhere in the vicinity where I will be able to get an internet connection. But where I'm going to be, there definitely will not be one because the Amish people that I am going to study with, they don't even have electricity. So they definitely would not need Wi-Fi or any kind of internet connection because they don't have anything to plug in to it. So super excited. So I just want to tell you how this trip to Amish country in Ohio relates to disruptive technology. So for those of you that don't know, Larry and I are business partners, and we have two corporations that we've set up here in Alberta, Canada. And I'm sorry if there's background noise and people behind me because I'm in a restaurant. This is where I didn't want to be late and leave Larry waiting for me, so I found a place with internet and got a cup of coffee, and I'm here on time. However, there might be some distracting noise and stuff in the background, and I apologize for that. But what is going on? We're, like I said, me and Larry are partners, and we operate two corporations in Alberta, Canada. One is what we've been talking about mostly on this hangout, which is our startup company that is in the solar power industry, and that's mostly Larry's expertise. And the other corporation we own is our profitable business that runs our local curbside recycling program. And so we have, up until just recently, been using the recycling business in order to fund the startup company and the new disruptive technology that we are developing. So we have been studying marketing strategies via Project AWOL's training and system on the internet, and they teach you marketing for online marketing. However, it is super applicable. A lot of the training in the AWOL system is very, very applicable to any business, including our corporations here in Alberta, Canada. So after studying their marketing training for a long time, I listened to a video in the master's course where the founder of the system was talking about the customer experience and how important it is to create a one-of-a-kind experience for your customer to connect to your product or service in a way that makes it more really meaningful for them. And so I was thinking about that. Actually, Larry and I were both thinking about how to increase the subscriptions to our recycling business, because the way it works in our community is that the city operates a non-for-profit organization where they collect all recyclables, and everybody in the city pays on their utility, water, city work, maintenance bill. They pay a fee to access this recycle depot, and everybody can take their recycling, there and drop it off at the depot. And what we do is we offer a service where we actually pick up the recycling for you and take it to the depot for you, kind of like garbage collection, but it's all recyclables. And so we were thinking about how to increase our subscriptions to that, and Larry came up with this amazing idea to combine my two passions, which, well, two of my passions, horses and recycling. So we discovered, and kind of the reason that we came up with this idea is because we discovered some grant money available for businesses, small businesses that are upgrading their equipment or changing their operation procedures in order to lower their carbon footprint. So Larry came up with the idea of doing our recycling collection using the horses that I work with on a local ranch. And so these are, this is super exciting. These are big, strong, heavy horses. The ranch that I work at deals with breeds and shows purebred Clydesdales. And my mentor at the ranch, he actually has bought and sold horses from Budweiser. So some of the horses that I get to work with every single day actually will be famous on TV commercials. Some of the ones that I've already worked with have been, and in the future and I have worked with horses that were definitely on those TV commercials at Super Bowl time in the past. Because it's actually a pretty small, tight-knit community of these draft horse people. And a big part of that community is the Amish people, because the Amish people still use Clydesdales and Belgians and these big, strong workhorses, these draft horses, with their farming procedures. They still live very old-fashioned, natural type farm lifestyle where they still use horses instead of tractors. And so the reason that I'm going to be traveling to Millersburg, Ohio from August 3rd till 10th is so that I'm actually going to take a course from a gentleman named Alvin Yoder and his wife Katie. I'll be staying with the Amish and on their farm, and they are going to teach me how to drive horses. And he said at the end of the week, I will be able to hitch up 6 horses and drive them to town. So I'm super excited about gaining that skill. I've been studying up on the procedures, on the different implements, because they have different styles of hitches, and you can hitch horses, like typically they're side by side, but apparently you can hitch up 2 horses tandem, one in front of the other, and I'm super, super excited, so excited. I cannot tell you how excited I am, because when we purchased this recycle pickup company, it was already an established company. It was already profitable. So we knew it was a good investment because, of course, recycling is a huge growth industry all around the world. People are concerned about the plastics in the ocean. People are concerned about the overflowing landfills, and people are very interested in making a difference in the world with simple acts like recycling. So we knew that it was a growth industry, we knew that it was profitable, and now we see the potential for this as exploding. This is basically going to be a pilot project in our community, and we feel very strongly that if it works where we live, this model of collection of and possibly deliveries using horses could spread to all parts of the globe, really. And if you think about the amount, like if we're looking at just our one truck, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Larry for a minute, because I want him to talk a little bit about how he came up with the idea to use horses with the recycling and how it relates to this, because I don't know that much about it, but this CC, EMC, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. I want you to talk about that. But before you do, I just want to tell you that when we bought this recycling company, I never in a million years dreamed that I would be excited about picking up stinky old milk cartons. And now I literally cannot wait to get out there on the road and collect all of your old pizza boxes and whatever the heck else that you've got out there. Larry has been diligently doing it for a very, very long time, and he's ready for a break, and I am actually excited beyond belief that I get to do this. It's going to be a totally different trip. But Larry, can you talk a little bit about the grant that we applied for and how you came up with this idea in relation to the money that was being offered by this organization?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I received an email from the CCEMC, a nonprofit organization that's funded by businesses that basically pay carbon offsets, and this is where the offsets go to. Is they go to this fund, and this fund is used to finance different types of projects that also help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And so the way I got, I guess, into it was that I received an email stating that they're looking for, I can't remember exactly word for word, but they were looking for companies that were interested in offering technology that would use animals or organisms to somehow reduce the production of greenhouse gases. And I thought about it for a while, and usually when people talk about that sort of technology, they are in line with microbiotic kind of organisms that eat algae and stuff like that, on a very microscopic level for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And I thought, well, that's all well and good, but it doesn't really apply to my business. So why am I receiving this email from the CCEMC? And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I thought, well, maybe there's something that we do in recycling that could qualify. And I can't remember exactly how the idea was spawned, but I think Trish was just talking about something to do with the horses that she was working with at work that day. And I think I just, thought, wouldn't it be fun to pick up recycling using horses and send that in as an application for funding for the CCMC? What the heck? The horses are animals, and if you use horses instead of a hydrocarbon burning vehicle, you're using a bioorganism to reduce greenhouse gases. And that's pretty much how it all came into effect. We knew about the CCEMC for a number of years, and we've applied for other grants from them unsuccessfully, and I think this is the best one we've come up with so far.
So I am chomping at the bit. Technically, the grant that we applied for, the project, would not start until December, and I can't wait. So our game plan that we have just come up with, actually within the less than 24 hours, and I think it's so ironic that I ended up here. I'm actually in a town close to the airport, a place called Nisku, Alberta, in this restaurant that has free Wi-Fi, and they have wagon wheels right behind me, and I just think that's so ironic for what we're talking about today. But anyway, so what was I saying? I'm chomping at the bit. I'm super excited to do this. So our game plan that we just came up with, like within, I think it's been less than 12 hours since we were discussing this, is to right away, as soon, hopefully, before I go to Ohio, is to get these 2 horses that my mentor has located for me that are, they're, I think he said 6-year-old geldings, and they've already been doing hay rides and sleigh rides in the city of Regina, which is probably at least twice, if not more, the population of the community that we're going to be operating in. So once we get these horses, we want to buy a carriage, and we are going to be giving out carriage rides like they do in Central Park, because, like I said, for this grant application to use the horses for recycling, the project wouldn't actually start until December. So while we're waiting to see if they come around, and whether they do or not, I'm doing this. I'm doing it. So if I'm not going to get supported by these carbon offsets, so be it. I will find other funding to make it happen, because it's happening. And I'm super, super, super excited about it, if you can't tell. But so anyway, I want to get a carriage and these horses from Saskatchewan ready to go, so that as soon as I return from my course in Ohio, I can right away start driving a single horse and a carriage. And our intention is to give carriage rides around the community, but only to our recycling subscribers. So people are going to be coming up and going, oh, I want a carriage ride, and I'm going to be telling them, well, if you're not part of our Blue Box Recycle program, you are eligible for a ride. And they're going to go, oh, well, how do I sign up for that? And I guarantee you, I told Larry this early, I guarantee you there are going to be people that are going to pay the fee, which is going to be, right now it's like $80 a year or something like that for a year subscription. There's going to be people that come and pay that year subscription just to take the carriage ride that never put out a blue box. They're going to pay the money to take the carriage ride, and they're going to keep throwing the recyclables in the garbage. I know that's going to happen, but I think even more people will actually get with the program because of this strategy. And also, even without the carriage rides, I think just seeing the horses out there collecting the recycling is going to boost our subscriptions to this program. It's going to more than double it. It's probably going to quadruple it within probably a few months. It's going to explode. I know it. There's not a doubt in my mind, because the thing about it is we live in a small farming community. There's a lot of retirement people that are retired farmers that they've moved into our community from off of the farm, and they have fond memories of horses from childhood. So these retired people, when they see those horses out there on the road, it's going to create this nostalgia, and they're going to be so supportive of what we're doing. Not to mention that I personally have been telling my friends and family and anyone who will listen about my rise to fame, which has been...
I actually met one of those people on the route today.
Yeah. So my rise to fame has been a little bit of a slow process thus far. It's been 10 years. I've been working as a musician, and Larry's tried his hand at acting, and I think we both have this kind of fame bug that we've been honing our skills in order to achieve the fame and fortune that we seek. And I know that when I am driving horses around my community, people are going to see me coming. I am going to be a local celebrity like that. No time. And from there, it's just going to totally explode. And before you know it, in no time whatsoever, I'm going to be a household name. I know it. That's my intention. So it's going to happen.
You're not bragging, though, are you?
I am just stating the facts of what is happening. Hey, you out there, I'm telling you, I've had so many different ideas, from my musical aspirations to dancing. I've had so many different ideas about how I could get famous, singing, whatever, like acting. I've had all these ideas about becoming a politician was an idea I used to have. I gave that up, but I've had so many different ideas, and I'm telling you, if that's something that you want in your life, you're just like one little idea away from making it happen. It can happen to anybody. Like, hey, if a guy like Donald Trump can be all rich and famous, so can you. Like, look at that guy. He's scary looking. He looks like a Muppet, but he's lovable because he's unique, and he had good ideas. Building those freaking awesome condos in New York was a good idea, and people appreciate good ideas. So all you need is a good idea, and you can be, just like me, a local celebrity in your community or beyond. So I'm not really bragging, I'm just setting my intention for what I've always wanted to do. It's just now I feel a lot more confident about my ability to actually do it. And so outside of that, I think that, Larry, do you want to talk a little bit about how you came up with this idea of turning the carriage rides that we're hopefully going to start doing as soon as I get back to Ohio into like an exclusive kind of members only ordeal for people?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. My whole strategy for bringing the carriages or the horses into town was going to increase our subscription. I think that's Japan joining us. Or did he just self-combust? He was like there in the booth. He blew away with the wind or something. I think that's Japan. Is that Japan? Okay. Anyways.
Just his calendar.
Just his calendar's joining us.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Japan, how you doing? Hello. That's him. As I was saying, I think for my plan for starting the switch that off. My plan for the horses, bringing the horses into Kameron to pick up recycling, has always been to increase the awareness of recycling in our community. Because right now, I think we're at around 25%, maybe a little less now, of Kameron's actually using a recycling service. And so it just makes sense to use horses because people think, well, everybody loves horses. Like, who doesn't love horses? They're great to have in the community. They don't pollute, and which is a really big part of what we're all about. We wouldn't be in the recycling business if we were major world polluters. And having horses, I think picking up recycling and offering the carriage rides should increase our business up to, I'm hoping to increase it up to about 50% of the town actually using curbside service. Why? Because there would be, if you're picking up recycling using horse and wagon, you're not making any kind of, you're not burning any kind of hydrocarbon in the vehicle whatsoever. I think the only way to top that as far as efficiency goes, or not efficiency, but a small carbon footprint would be use some kind of electric vehicle that's charged by some kind of solar charger to have even a lower emission, and maybe we'll shoot for that. But I think the main thing is if we have more people using our service, using horses in comparison to gas-burning vehicles, they really have no excuse for actually starting their car or their SUV, loading it up with recycling, and going down to the depot. The reason is they're just creating more pollution than using our system by doing that. And I really think that's the whole mindset behind using horses for this application for picking up the recycling.
So I think that exclusivity is super important, because when people see the carriage, the horse-drawn carriage going through town, and they say, oh, I want to go on a carriage ride, and they find out that no, this is not for you unless you become part of this recycling program. They're totally going to be wanting to join us. And I was telling my mentor that when we get our big recycle trailer out there, we're going to have on the side of it big bright numbers, our phone number for the recycling as well as his phone number for his horse business, where they do sales and lessons and riding and showing and events at his big, huge stable. And I said that our phones are both going to be running off the hook, and we are going to have every little kid in that town either wanting the horses to stop at their house or begging their parents to get a pony and come out to his place and take some lessons or do some riding. So it's super, super exciting to just think of the domino effect that this could have, that there's little kids out there that will see these horses on the road, and it will actually encourage them to maybe put down the video game controller and start having a hobby that gets them out in the fresh air and enjoying nature and getting to work with an animal, which a lot of kids that grow up in cities don't even get to see animals like that up close. So that's pretty exciting. Japan, can we hear you today? Hello?
Yes.
Is your microphone working?
Yes.
You're pretty quiet again. I was just wondering what kind of recycle programs that they have in India. Do you guys do recycling in India?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I still can't hear you. Can you hear him, Larry?
Yes.
Sorry, I hear him saying yes.
Oh, okay. So they do they pick up the recycling for you, or do you have to take it somewhere? I can't hear anything. Anyway.
I think it takes time for the sound to
Yeah,
get
but
all the way to India.
I can hear you right away. Anyway, I'm still kind of new to the Hangout platform a little bit, so I'm not sure if that's. I know we had a big problem the other day. That was my fault. This time my volume's up, so I don't know. Anyway, so I'm super excited about going to Ohio and learning a new skill. And like I said, I've done a little bit of looking into exactly what I will have to do. However, I'm very much a kinesthetic learner, which means I have to get my hands dirty and get in there to really know what I'm doing. Just reading about it or watching videos about it or having someone explain it to me is not as powerful to me as an education as actually getting my hands-on education. But I'm super, super excited because of my experience with horses, especially the work horses. I noticed they are so friendly. They're very, very calm and so big. They're like kind of intimidating by their size, but they're like these gentle giants, and I'm just so excited to let other people in our community experience the joy that I feel each and every day when I get to go and work with horses. It's truly, truly my deepest passion and love in life is to be around horses, work with horses and ride horses, and having the opportunity to be able to collect recycling using horses in my community. It's like a dream come true, and I'm like pinching myself going like, is this really happening? Am I really doing this? And you know, a few years ago it was a lifelong dream to even own a horse and be able to ride a horse, and now I am very, very close to being the happy owner of a herd of 5 5 head of horses is what I will have hopefully by the end of the month. And I'm going to be working with these awesome, amazing Clydesdales in a whole nother capacity by driving, because up until now I've been involved with the day-to-day care and grooming and some riding. However, I have no experience driving horses, so it should be extremely interesting. And from all the videos and stuff that I've seen, these animals do amazingly well maneuvering in traffic and stuff. It's quite phenomenal that these massive creatures can exercise such self-control in like such stressful situations. But just to keep
I think if I could just interject for a sec.
Yeah.
I think something else that's really important about what horses have to offer as far as being within city limits and going up and down roads. If you look at the amount of money that a city has to spend on repairing alleyways and roadways, because I guess these garbage trucks, generally they weigh 16 tons. And I think in most cities, alleys aren't designed to really withstand that much heavy load going down them. And I've noticed since over the past 2 or 3 years that since these big, large vehicles have been going up and down alleys, that the alleys are really getting damaged quite a bit. So actually by having horses picking up recycling and, like you mentioned, also picking up household waste like your regular garbage, I think that could just be better for the environment, 100%. And once again, it falls under this disruptive technology category as well, because the standard of the industry is, yeah, you go up and down the streets and the alleys using giant garbage trucks that generally burn diesel. So I think that's kind of a big issue.
Well, yeah, and I just wanted to point out that we did some calculating. We had to for the grant money that we applied for, and apparently by using the horses, we will save on a yearly basis 14 tons of carbon or greenhouse gas emissions, 14 tons of greenhouse gas emissions per year. So if they were to replace all of the garbage trucks on the road around the world, how much greenhouse gas would that reduce? And I know one of our subscribers actually got a sneak peek about what we're planning, and their comment was, well, won't that take a really long time? But honestly, our recycle collection service works very similar to garbage collection. So if you ever watch the garbage truck go by, it's going pretty slow, and it stops, it starts, it stops, it starts, which means for horses, there's never, you're going down alleys and mainly residential city streets. There's no reason to go fast. And as a matter of fact, I think I got a phone call quite a while ago about somebody complaining that the truck was going too fast. So with horses, we will not have any complaints of speed, as well as I wanted to point out that the horses also would not have to be working that hard, because at each stop there's like a 2-minute rest where the horses would just kind of be standing there waiting for me to sort through the recycling, because we kind of have a system where you get to the blue box and then you separate the tin cans and the plastic and the paper quickly into the trailer that we're going to have, and then you put the box back empty and move on to the next stop. So there's lots of starts and stops, which would allow the horses to have rest, as well as I wanted to point out for the animal rights people, like I said, I'm going to have a herd of 5. The one horse is my light horse that I ride around, and the other 4 are going to work the recycling business. And so We only need a team of 2 to pull the trailer and the amount of weight that we collect as far as cardboard and plastic and the materials that we're collecting. So with having 4 horses, we will only run 2 at a time. So every day we will switch the pairs so that none of the horses ever have to work 2 days in a row. They always will have at least 1 day break in between working for us on the road. So I know that we did some research about what's going on, and in other communities, and like in Central Park, they run fancy cabs, which are the carriages that we're planning to start with, that kind of go around Central Park and take people places in New York. And we're taking a lot of their business model and applying it. For example, in order to deal with the waste, because big horse equals big mess, they have these bags that actually hang over the horse's tail and collects the road apples or the waste, right? So that we wouldn't leave any mess like that behind. They do that in Central Park. And also we found out that on average, I think that maybe it was just one of the people that ran the fancy cabs, but this gentleman was making like $200,000 a year running a fancy cab in Central Park. And I don't even know if they operate year-round. They probably do, but they probably aren't as busy in the winter. But wow, that's a lot of revenue. So if we can pick up our recycling during the day and then do some little carriage rides in the evening, of course the horses would have a break for water and feed in between the 2 jobs, and then you would only need 1 horse for the carriage. So that could be very, very lucrative. And really, this recycle business, pretty much since we started with it, has always been our main funding source for developing our solar power technology. So if we can get these little side businesses going and making money, that is going to go a really far way in being able to secure the patents that we need and being able to set up our manufacturing. And actually, Japan, I don't know if you caught the replay of the other hangouts that we did, but we're actually planning on visiting Malaysia, and we're thinking about setting up our manufacturing in Malaysia, because we ran into an investment source potentially there. And is Malaysia very close to India? Is it close to where you are?
Yes. It is close, but
It
not
is?
too close.
Well, it's got to be closer than Canada, right? So potentially when we go to Malaysia, we may be able to arrange for you to come and meet us there, or we may be able to come to India if it's not that far. I'm not too sure exactly how that works, but we're planning to have an extended stay there. I'm going to bring my son, and my older son, he actually wants to stay home, so he's actually going to help with some of the administration of our recycle company while we are in Malaysia setting up our manufacturing. So lots and lots of exciting things. I'm getting ready to go to Ohio, and I'm planning a trip to Malaysia, and Orlando, Florida is coming up in October. And yeah, I just wanted to point out I want to make another comment about Project AWOL and how it relates to what we're doing with all of this. I can't remember what my point was, but the training, the marketing training, oh yeah, like I was saying, in one of the trainings that I did that Project AWOL provides, they're talking about the customer experience and how if you can create a unique, one-of-a-kind customer experience, you will secure loyal customers and lifelong fans of your service, your product, or your service. So I really, 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 really feel that this strategy that we've come up with, using horses to pick up Oh my goodness! I just had all this text show up in my chat. I'm like, I've never seen that before. But having creating this customer experience, I think, is going to go a really, really long way for growing this business. And I think that once we prove that it works where we live, it's duplicatable anywhere. It can be like a McDonald's franchise, and we can help entrepreneurs all over the world to set up their own recycling collection. Oh, okay. This is Tapan says in the chat. India has witnessed a substantial growth in the consumption of plastic and an increased production of plastic waste. Polyolefins account for the major share of 60% in the total plastic consumption. In India, packaging is the major plastic consuming sector with 42% of the total consumption, followed by consumer products and the construction industry. The relationship observed between plastic consumption and the gross domestic product for several countries was used to estimate future plastic consumption. The master curve, elasticities of the individual material growth with respect to GDP were established for the past and for the next 3 decades estimated for India, thereby assuming a development comparable with that of Western Europe. On this basis, the total plastic consumption is projected to grow by a factor of 6 between 2000 and 2030. The consumption of various end products is combined with their corresponding lifetime to calculate the total waste quantities. The weighted average lifetime of plastic products was calculated as 8 years. 47% of the total plastic waste generated is currently recycled in India. This is much higher than the share of recycling in most other countries. The recycling sector alone employs as many people as the plastic processing sector, which employs about 8 times more people than the plastic manufacturing sector due to the increasing share of long-life products in the economy, and consequently in the volume of waste generated, the share of recycling will decrease to 35% over the next 3 decades. The total waste available for disposal, excluding recycling, will increase at least tenfold up to the year 2030 from its current level of 13 million tons. Wow. Okay, well, you've done your homework, Japan. That's awesome. I'm not sure if people that watch this can see that or not, so I wanted to read it for everybody. But and I know in India, you guys already have like cows and stuff wandering around, so it would be pretty easy to use horses to pick up the plastics and recyclables in India rather than trucks. So that's good news. So our business, I think, would be easily duplicated in India. And yeah, it sounds like, Larry, can you see the chat stuff too? Do you have any comments about what I read? Because you know a little bit more about some of those numbers that are in there, I think.
Yeah, they're very similar to Canada, actually. A lot of our plastic, our waste is plastic. However, I think if you're looking at the breakdown of what we have for recycling, is we have a lot of cardboard as our main material, followed by newspaper, and then after newspaper would come mixed paper, and then like the stuff we take is plastic, and then tin would probably be next, and then glass would be last in line. So I think it's a similar breakdown.
But yeah, it's pretty cool, and I think we're definitely on the right track with this hangout and with what we're talking about, because yeah, there are people all over the globe that are really seeing the issue that lies with the consumption that goes on in society. Like, most of this stuff is packaging that a lot of it is kind of unnecessary. Like, I know I especially notice with toys, because I have kids. So when my kids get toys bought I don't usually buy them toys. I'm investing all my money into their future and my business, so you don't get toys and stuff like that from me. But when grandma or grandpa sends them a birthday or a Christmas present and they get these toys, it's unbelievable what you have to go through to get these packages open. And then there's like all this cardboard insets and this like plastic wrap on top of a plastic carton on top of a cardboard box, and it's a little bit ridiculous. And I think a lot of different things, like even going to the grocery store and stuff, like I remember when I was a kid, you used to pick up your produce and they had little paper bags, and you would put your apples or your tomatoes or whatever it was into a paper bag. And of course, the brown paper bags were all like compost, like they biodegrade really easy. But these plastic bags are so insidious; they last literally forever. And even as they disintegrate over long periods of time, when they finally do break down, they release toxins into the water supply, let alone all the birds and fish and stuff that get tangled up in these plastic bags that we're putting our tomatoes and stuff in, when we could have just kept using paper bags. And like it was, I think at the time when they switched here in Canada from paper bags to plastic bags, it was all like, oh, the paper bags they're chopping down the forest to make all these shopping bags. It's bad for the environment, and we got to save the trees. And it's like, yeah, but the trees are a renewable resource, and the oil that makes the plastic bags is a non-renewable resource, and plus it's toxic when you like let it blow away in the wind. Whereas the paper bags never were going to hurt anybody blowing in the wind, right? If a paper bag landed in the ocean, it would disintegrate pretty fast in the salt water. Whereas the plastic bags, like, really last forever. So anyway, I'm super excited about recycling. More excited than I ever thought that I would or could be. It's pretty amazing. I think Larry's excited too to be able to focus on what he's most passionate about, which is inventing. So, Larry, do you want to talk about transitioning out of doing the day-to-day recycle collection and into focus on the solar power technology?
Really, sorry, that would be really fantastic, because I think going from focusing on recycling and then focusing, I think having more time to spend on the solar heat collector. You know, it's really kind of hard to say, because I have a funny feeling at the point of transition, it's going to be more of, let's get the solar heat collector to market. I've got, as you know, I finally discovered the switch that I've been searching for a few months. I finally found it. It's manufactured by Honeywell, and of course it's designed for outer space, and so it's not cheap. So we found the switch that is actually the key to the machine, and once we have that switch in there, we're ready to go. You know, it's liftoff time. And so if I'm making the transition from the recycling business to the solar heat collector business, I have a funny feeling we're going to be more focused on starting production in the Asian area of the world, simply because I don't know if Japan was with us when we were discussing the issues that we have in North America right now. The workforce here, in my opinion, or in our opinion, has become quite lazy, and it's very difficult for us to start a manufacturing company in Canada. So it turns out we're going to, I have a very strong feeling that we'll be going to a country, for example, Malaysia, to start setting up the company to manufacture our new invention in that country, and then start selling it Probably I think it will be in the Asia market to begin with, just because simply we found that because there's an abundance of hydrocarbons still here in North America to burn, uh, people aren't very interested in solar technology in North America at all. And so there's a much stronger interest for our technology in the Asia market.
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that too, and one is that we have oil and gas here where we live. We don't have to import it like other countries. We actually export it to other countries and sell our oil and gas resources. They're building a pipeline, I believe, out to BC to get on shipping routes to send to places like Asia that don't have an abundance of the resource located where they are. Same with Russia. Russia has a similar situation, and then I think another reason for that is that because we have an abundance of that resource, it's not that expensive. And so the solar power technology, because it's so new, it tends to be out of reach for a lot of people here because of the cost. At least that was our experience. We went and bought solar panels and we're like, oh, wow, these things were expensive, and you'd need a lot more of these to really be able to run a household. Larry had used these solar panels to to power a camper, and it really didn't provide enough power even to power the camper. And it was like, I think he paid $1,000 for those solar panels, and they didn't even power that camper. So it was like, if I wanted to build a house that was off-grid that relied on solar panels, you would need 3 times the amount of solar panels as what would have filled up the roof of the house that I have, my dream house kind of idea. So I looked at what Larry's experience was with these solar panels in the camper, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be really, really expensive. And so that's a big barrier here in North America, where oil and gas is still relatively inexpensive. And so, yeah, there's just really a lot going on, and I'm super, super excited about the future, like more than ever. Like, today was just an amazing, amazing day. Like, I don't know if you were around last week. I had some really tough days. Last week there was a couple days where I just wanted to bury my head in the sand and pretend that I didn't even know what was going on. But I kind of am like the total opposite of that this week. Especially today. Today was a super day. We've taken some big steps towards moving forward in our plans for the future. So it's super exciting to be looking at manufacturing in a foreign country. And I used to be one of the people that was all like, oh, they're sending all our jobs over to China. But you know what? There's a reason for that. Obviously, China has a bunch of people that are hungry for opportunity. And in North America, unfortunately, a lot of our youth are kind of lazy, and they have a little bit of an entitlement attitude because of the amazing lifestyle that we get to live here. Like in North America, there's an abundance of resources all around all the time, and so people take it for granted, and there's quite a bit of waste that I see going on, and it's obvious as a business, from a business owner standpoint, and looking at, okay, I need to set up manufacturing. I have a product now, I have patents, and I need manufacturing. And so looking around, it's like, I planned on doing the manufacturing here in Canada, but I just realized after just being in the workforce and looking at the people that I've worked with and the people that I know and where their mindset and their work ethic is here where we live, and it's just not going to be cost effective or any fun to set up manufacturing here. Like, I've seen so many business owners that I know struggle with turnover issues. They cannot keep reliable staff in the building. They're constantly hiring and firing and people quitting and people not showing up and being short-staffed. Like, you go to almost any business out there and you ask them about this, and they're going to tell you, oh yeah, I've had lots of experiences when I've gone to shops to purchase something and the people are flustered and they're apologizing and saying, listen, we're short-staffed, so-and-so didn't show up, and so everybody's kind of, running around like a chicken with their head cut off because the whole production has been disrupted by this one bozo that didn't bother to show up for work. And so I just don't want to go through that. It just seems like such a headache. And I've seen my father, who's an entrepreneur, put up with that, and I've seen my mentor that works at this farm, he puts up with extremely high turnover because it's not a really high skilled position, so it's a huge amount of turnover. And it's just, I just see that and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. So I think that in a place like Malaysia, which I really have my heart set on, the people there are hungry for opportunity, and if you can give them honest work for honest pay, they are going to do their best for you. And I just don't see people here that, well, I see some, but there's not a lot of people here that are willing to, go the extra mile, let alone go the first mile. Like, so it just makes sense. And
well, that's a good point because, I think even Tapan would probably agree that I believe when we have computer issues with Microsoft, what we used to do is we would call Microsoft here, and now so many service calls actually get routed to India now. So evidently there's a lot more people in India that are willing to do the work than there are in North America. Is there a lot of younger people in India that are, hungry to work, or what are kids that are 19 years old doing these days in India for fun or for work? Did you hear me, Tapan?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just curious. What is the workforce like in India for people that are between 19 and 25 years old? Are a lot of those people working?
You're working.
Yeah.
But India's population is too much.
Pardon me?
The population of India is large, too much.
Okay.
So there are a lot of
I bet there's a lot of people there that want to work, though.
Want to work. Yeah.
See,
Yes.
it's not like that here in North America right now. It seems like between the ages of 19 and 25, people don't care whether they work or whether they don't work. They don't have the motivation to actually work, although there's jobs for them.
Well, and they want the money, and they will get the job for the money, but they tend to not give as much effort a lot of times as what they're being paid for. And then I see a lot of people like waste their money and spend money on silly, frivolous things and then complain, oh, my boss doesn't pay me enough. And it's like, it's not your boss's fault that you're broke. You blew your paycheck at the bar on the weekend. How is it your boss didn't pay you enough? It's that, you didn't handle your money right. But I don't know. That I think it might be a little bit of an issue everywhere, but I don't know yet. But I want to find out, and I think that probably that issues with the workforce are a big part of the reason why so much of our manufacturing has been farmed out to Asia, is because the people there are more willing to work for opportunities, whereas here, like the the youth around here, they're very, very plugged into their devices. There's a lot of playing video games and just like I don't know, kind of time waste watching TV and like the people that I'm working with some young people right now, and they're really nice people, but I just like I'm kind of aghast because I'm hopefully they're not watching, but there's this girl, and I think she's like she's at least 10 years younger than me, and I am like running circles around her, and I'm going like, why can't she keep up? Like she should have more energy than me, you would think, because she's got youth on her side, but somehow I'm. And then I remember when I was working with my dad at our family business, and he is like a 55-year-old man, and he was running circles around these 20-year-old guys that he had working for him. Like they were walking around like this, and he's like, and I'm like, something's wrong with this picture. These young guys should like have some get up and go and more energy than this, this man that's pushing 60. It just doesn't make sense. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's something in the food. I think young people have been brought up on a substandard diet, especially here in North America, with fast food and preservatives and stuff in the boxed foods of the grocery store, and maybe that plays a part in the decreased energy that I see in younger people. I'm not too sure, but I'm super excited about setting up manufacturing overseas because that's what all the other big companies are doing, and I definitely want to play big with this company. So to me, it makes sense that I'm going to model what the other people that have the success that I'm looking for in life. So if companies like Honeywell and GE have outsourced their manufacturing to places like China and Japan, that's what I want to do because I want to be like them. So obviously, there's a lot of good reasons why they've decided to do that, and what we're talking about with the workforce is one of the reasons. I think the availability of raw materials and skilled, knowledgeable technicians that know how to custom make parts that we might need and stuff like that will be more readily available there. What are you thinking about that, Larry?
No, definitely. I think that's definitely the situation. Just from what I've been learning recently and watching how the business environment has changed in North America only in the past 10 years. There's really been some dramatic changes take place in the workforce in North America. And we've seen that in the past 10 years.
We kind of like gone off topic here a little bit. So the hangout was all about the old technology, which is horse and buggy, kind of like in the olden days when they used to deliver milk with horses and wagon. We are going to be collecting recycling with horses and wagon. And yeah, the whole idea stemmed out of this government grant money that is hopefully still on its way. I think we were supposed to hear from them last month and we didn't, so potentially it's not on its way, but we're moving forward irregardless, and super excited about making that big change in our business. And it's probably not going to go down until spring, but before the fall sets in and the winter season, we're definitely going to want to run some carriage rides to get the word out in the community of our plans and hopefully drum up a bunch of support where we have a Kickstarter campaign planned, and we'll be doing a hangout where we reveal our Kickstarter video and hopefully get some people to give some constructive criticism so that we can improve that, because it is going to take a little bit of financial resources to get these. We need to build these custom trailers that are going to be ultra lightweight, and we're going to be building them so that they can be easily hitched to the horses, as well as to a UTV, which is like a utility terrain vehicle, kind of like a quad, but with a cab, so you can stay warm and be enclosed. Because the depot where the collection of the recycling goes on is kind of a busy place, and I don't think that it would be a very conducive environment for the horses, because there's a lot of activity, and then also you're kind of there for a prolonged period of time unloading materials. So the horses will only be used during the collection process. They will not. So what will happen is we'll need 2 of these custom trailers, and the horses will pick up recycling, and once the trailer is full, this little utility vehicle will bring the empty trailer, take the full one, and then the horses will be hitched to the empty one, and the full one will go to the depot with another employee and the utility vehicle for unloading and loading. So yeah, we've got a pretty good system worked out in our mind, and it's a big vision that we are bringing to reality. And so yeah, it's super exciting to be sharing this here with you, and we'll be giving you updates as we take steps forward with that. And I feel very confident that doing the carriage rides especially is going to create a revenue stream that will be very, very helpful for moving forward our solar power technology that is very disruptive as well, and paying for some of the costs in our idea of what we're talking about, setting up manufacturing. So with that, it's been just over an hour. So I think that we can wrap it up, and just so that everybody out there knows, we are actively seeking people that will come and participate on the Hangout in the first week of August, when I will be in Ohio, and I'm not knowing whether or not I will be able to obtain any kind of internet connection there. So I'm assuming that where I'm going has no internet, because the people...
Irish people don't have internet.
No, well, the people that I communicated with, they have a website, but I wanted to, or what was it? I wanted to email them the form, to the participation, like the registration form. No, they don't have email. They have a website. I don't know how that works. You have a website, but you don't have emails. Like, no, you have to send it in the post mail with a stamp. So anyway, so from August 3rd to August 9th, I'm really August 10th, I'm really hoping Larry can find some participants to join him while I'm gone, because yeah, probably I won't have internet. The first and the last day, I think I'll actually be in Cleveland in transit to Millersburg, so I might be able to jump on the Hangout at arrival, departure time, maybe with the internet, the airport internet. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. So with that, I will sign off, and I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, but we'll come up with something. So any final thoughts, guys? All right. Have a good night, everybody, and if I don't see you in the future, I will see you in the pasture, because that's where I'm headed, 6 a.m. Nighty-night. Sleep tight.
Okay, bye.